Hey everyone, it's P4L. I'm coming at you with a review of Generation Toys Red Bull. This is their GT-11 version of the T-Beast. If you guys are familiar with that, T-Beast is, I think, an artist that did a whole series, like dozens and dozens of reimaginings of the Transformers line as animals, but also like robotic style. So not like season one Beast Wars, but more like actually nothing like Beast Wars. So anyway, this is their second release. This is their Sideswipe, which is reimagined as a mechanical bull. Their first being the Optimus Prime. So let's get started packaging. Pretty standard Generation Toy packaging nowadays. They have a slipcover, as you see here. Nothing else really on it, just warning labels and just a product image. If you can see here, when you fold it down, you actually get a really nice square shot of Red Bull or Sideswipe in his robot mode. Out of the slipcover, he comes in a very sturdy box, and I really like this packaging in the sense it's very sturdy. You don't feel like you're gonna, mess it up too much. There's no flap to open up or anything like that. He does come with a set of instructions. I believe these instructions are pretty good from what I got through with it, and the instructions, the transformation itself is pretty simple. So nothing too complicated going on here. It does come in molded styrofoam kind of packaging, not styrofoam, protective foam packaging. These little inserts you can move out of the way, and you can see that Red Bull comes packaged in mostly Bull mode or alt mode. He does come with a series of accessories. These are all kind of like the pile drivers that Sideswipe is kind of known for. It comes with like two sets. It comes with the silver ones that we saw on the images, on the box images, promo images there. These are painted. He comes with also the kind of the flat ones that we saw, the black ones. These are kind of similar to what we got with the Masterpiece line. And then lastly, oh, sorry, this is really washed out. Let me turn it back a little bit. There we go. And he also comes with a gun, which has a little tiny horn on this side here. So we'll take a look at these in robot mode a little bit later. Getting into the alt mode is pretty simple from here. You just kind of want to rotate the head up, bring this leg down, bring this leg down. These will come down as well and unfurl. The front legs, all you need to do is rotate these hooves around. And depending on how yours came packaged, you might actually have to do a little bit of transformation. So real quick, there is a little peg here on this part. Depending on how yours came packaged, I saw some come transformed differently. You'll see these two tabs and these two slots. You want to tab those together. And there is, like I said, a little peg that is kind of hard to see that's behind there. So if yours was transformed correctly in packaging, then you should be set. These horns you can bring up and pose however you'd like. And this cannon will have to flip up. It rotates around here. You'll see that there's a tab and a slot. So this scope kind of piece should be at the top. Like so. The back legs, if they weren't tabbed in, you can tab them in here. Mine were already tabbed in, but they are kind of loose, and then you can straighten out the bull tail. And as you can see, he does look quite like a bull. You can straighten out the hind legs to get him a little bit taller. But it's very mechanical looking, so that's what the style is. It's not supposed to be very organic, but it does look really nice. Articulation-wise, he has a little mouth that opens. His teeth are actually painted. His head is on a couple of different joints here. So he has a base neck that's on a swivel, and I think it might actually be on a ball joint. I don't really remember. I'll have to look into it a little bit later. But he gets a decent amount of range. He can't really look left and right, unfortunately. Like he does a little bit, but what you have to do is basically twist the neck. His arms will swivel around here. It actually has two swivel joints in the shoulders. I'm not really sure which way you're supposed to use it. It rotates on both. So there's one at the base, and then there's one inside the shoulder itself. It doesn't lock one or the other in place for this mode. like it does in robot mode, like we'll show later. Like these pegs will lock into place, so you only make use of the outside shoulder joint. But in in alt mode, it seems like you use both. So you can go a little bit outwards, not much. He doesn't really have a swivel here unless you start untransforming stuff. So we're not going to really talk about that. He does have a hinge here. It seems like to me that this joint should have been pegged in or pinned in separately, like this whole thing. Like I think this flipped around would make more sense because he bends like that, and that's not anatomically correct for a bull. It seems like it should go the other way. So yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. He has a ball jointed hoof that we saw before. The horns we already showed, can move around. The blaster we already kind of showed. The rear, aside from if you want to keep that back part tabbed in, he still rotates all the way around. He has a bend kind of at the thigh, I guess, and bend at what is like kind of the knee. He also has a bend at what is the ankle, but I think it's supposed to stay straight for and locked in for beast mode. And then again, the same kind of ball joint at the ankle, I guess, or whatever you want to call it. The tail does actually have a good amount of range. This is for transformation to space joint, but he does have a little swivel here, up here, down here. So a bunch of different joints that give him a lot of different range. I like how they have it. Every other joint is the opposite in terms of perpendicular articulation, so you can get a lot more curvature than you might otherwise. But yeah, that's really it for alt mode. I don't really have a lot to compare him to in alt mode. I will bring out the Generation Toys first one. I forget what he's called, to be perfectly honest. They're kind of like Optimus Primal, but I honestly don't remember what he's called. I think it might just be called Gorilla. So obviously this scale isn't accurate in terms of beast mode. They're supposed to be scaled in robot mode. A gorilla generally won't be this big. But they look nice together. They have the same kind of stylings. I actually think the plastic feels a little bit better and less cheap than the plastic that we have on Gorilla. So that's a positive. I guess if you want an alt mode comparison, where's my streak? Oh, yeah, I need to bring out my streak. I have been neglecting streak as of late. So here he is with Streak and Bumblebee, the original Master Beast Bumblebee 21 or whatever number he is. So you get an idea of how big he is. Very big. Oh, I almost forgot that there is a way to use this in alt mode. You go ahead and just tab it into the side of the cannon like that. Let's go ahead and start with transformation now. So transformation is, like I said, pretty simple. We're going to actually get his hind legs basically in the way they were before. You want to separate them at this ankle joint and get the toe pointed out like this. So kind of break the ankle and then curl it up at the base joint. So it forms almost like a rectangle as a whole. All right, coming down to the leg here, we're going to scooch this out of the way. We're going to untab here. We're going to untab at these side skirts. We're going to unpeg this section. There's a little peg here, or tab there. Rotate this around. Same thing on this side. And then untab the entire count leg or steer leg. All right, we're going to separate the two legs. And then we're going to come to the inside here. The inside has kind of an over-under tab. You can see here. So you want to pull this out. They don't actually show this part. So you want to pull that to release the leg. When you do that, you're going to bring this entire section on the silver piece. You want to bring this all the way. Oh, sorry, the other way, all the way around. Oh, no, I was right. So yeah, you want to bring it around this way by lifting up on this tail section. Bring it up and around like so. The steer legs, the rear legs, will come around on the swivel as well. And then you can fold this back into place to fill that gap. The tail, you just want to fold up like this. Just to get it back in the leg. I think this was correct. the foot, this will come down, the toe will come out. So that's the lower leg basically done. Now we're going to bring this part, swing it all the way down and around. Oh, sorry, this was supposed to swing this way to the outside of the leg. So bring this all the way down and around that tab that we saw before. That's going to tab in here and here. The leg now is going to come in kind of accordion closed. And you'll see back here that there is, where's the tab? Oh, the tab up here is going to go in that slot. This peg is going to go in the kind of knee joint. Like so. And then one last thing they don't really show is the hoof. You can see there's holes here. One goes into the shin itself. So it kind of locks the shin in place. It's kind of hard to get to. It's really kind of awkward to kind of try to push it in. But as long as it sinks in a little bit, you're good to go. And that's one leg done. Same thing on the other side. So we're going to come to the inside of the leg. Pull out on it to release this. Have this all come down. This one, again, we got to pull up on this tab. Rotate it around this way. Close it up. This piece will swing all the way around to the outside of the leg. And then we'll close this. These two tabs there. Lock that in. Get the toe out. And then accordion this closed, again, with the tab at the top on the red section and the peg at the bottom. And right there, once again, the shin will go into the hoof. There we go. That's it for the lower section. So let's do with the upper body now, starting with the arms. Again, there is a little tab here, so you want to pull out on that a little bit. Release these two tabs that we saw before. The arms, the forearms are tabbed in with this one tab going into this one slot, so you just kind of want to straighten that out. What you want to do when you get this straightened out is to clear the way. You want to flip this around, bring the steer leg to the outside. We're going to flip this around 180 degrees. And then we're going to close this again. Before we do that, make sure to pull the hand out. You have a little thumb here. I suggest you put it in this way, flat. But you can really position it also straight like this if you want. I just think it sits a little bit more closely if you do that. So pull this out and around. And like I said, this part is just going to come up. Like so. So you'll see here that there we go. So you'll see that these two tabs here will go into these slots at the base of the hand. And you can even see the curvature of the this part will nestle in nice and secure there. There is, again, another peg to lock that into place. And then with the rest of the arm, you can really do whatever you want with this. I prefer it like this, but you can go like this or whatever. And like I said, I think this, if this was flipped around, it would actually fill in this cavity in this arm a little bit better. So I would experiment with that. I might take this pin out and flip it around. I don't see that interfering at all with the transformation, but we'll see. I might do an update video. For the arms, you're almost done. You need to swing this around and flip this up. There's a little nub right there and a little nub here that kind of sits into place to kind of keep it from moving around too much. I wish it was a little bit sturdier because it does tend to move around quite a bit, but that's what its intended purpose is. So let's do this arm a little bit quicker. Sorry, I messed up a little bit, so I was a little confused. Untab that, pull the arm down, get the fist out, swing this around like so, bring this around. Then when you close this up, make sure to rotate so that the rounded section with the tabs goes straight into the wrist. bring the arm down, rotate it there, swing this around. And there we have his robot limbs ready to go. All right, dealing with the chest. There are a couple things you need to do. So chest and the torso, you want to pull back on this. You'll see these two tabs release. And there's actually another set of tabs that this gray part tabs into. So pull that out as well. With the chest, basically just want to accordion this open. Pull up on this. These are tabbed in. Swing this all the way around. Like so. And this will make way for the entire transformation. So the first thing you want to do is actually these side pieces here are on a double hinge. You can see that gray hinge here. You'd want to accordion this out just a little bit like that. All right. You want to make sure that these shoulder pieces with the rectangular piece is out like so. And then we'll deal with the head. So the head will need to, the robot head will need to scooch back and come back around like that. The bull head, on the other hand, will need to have the horns positioned downward, and you need to separate this hinge here. You need to do that because it'll give you a little bit more play to get these horns into these cavities right here. So you want to come down, get these horns in that cavity, push down, and then once you have them in, you can push back on the neck so it goes back into that cavity. There we go. All right. Now these shoulders, like I said, these rectangular pegs have a slot right there that these are supposed to reside in. Like that. There we go. And these will close up by tabbing into these white tabs at the top. You'll see that Sideswipe's neck actually has a rectangular cutout where it's supposed to rest here. Like so. Something doesn't seem right. Oh, that's why. You gotta remember to tab this in first. So these new tabs, they were sitting in these inner tab holes here, these rectangles. Now they're gonna go into this. So once that's done, you'll bring these back in, tab that in, and you'll see that the neck piece now sits flush. The last thing you have to do is deal with the backpack. This piece actually will extend, not backpack, but like the cannon. You'll untab it and basically just rearrange it to your liking. It has a series of different joints. You can have it up and around the shoulder. I wish it were a little bit longer. I had another segment because you can't really get it sitting straight forward. It always has to be at kind of an angle like this. As far as I can tell. You can't really do much else with it. But, oh, the one thing I didn't show is in Beast mode that there was storage here that you can plug this in like this. But you can do that in robot mode as well, to have a double cannon on the shoulder. Or you can obviously tab it into the hand. There we go. And there we have Red Bull or Sideswipe in robot mode. And I think he looks really pretty good. It's a really interesting design. It's not completely accurate to what we saw with the T-Beast artwork, but it's pretty close. There are only a couple sections that are a little bit off. Nothing so drastic that it would make you not think it's the same design. So let's do a quick 360. You can see it cleans up quite well. Not much of a backpack. And again, if I think if you flip these around, I think there's only one pin that's holding it into place. Like these, I think you could flip these around pretty easily, and I think they would fill in the gap a little bit more, so you have less of kind of Popeye arms that he kind of has going on right now. But looks wise, I think it looks really cool. It's a fun looking little figure, but he's also very much sideswipe. You can see with his nice head sculpt here, the little horns are actually bull-like horns as opposed to the horns that we'll see here. Actually, let's bring him out. Let's bring out MP sideswipe instead of like these type of horns that we see there. So very cool call out. You can see he is slightly taller than MP sideswipe, but he still has the kind of trapezoidal chest that he's kind of known for. Same kind of thigh design, even the waist and everything like that looks very much similar to what we got in the official kind of animation and MP design, but just with some stylistic changes that they added for the beast mode. So let's put him off to the side. What else is going on with him? Oh, like I said, he does have those pile drivers. All of them work the same way. You do need to untab this section here, flip in the fist however you'd like, close this back up, and they all work with one tabbing in up here. So you can have them like this, or you can have the silver drivers. They are interchangeable. There's no left or right. There is a specific up and down orientation though. These are hollow on the bottom, so if that makes sense. But yeah, a little bit of fun playability. I don't think I've ever displayed mine with a pile driver, so there we go. Let's take out his gun for now. Talking about articulation, he does have a swivel and a turn at the head. His shoulder joint is now locked into place, so both shoulder rotations don't work, but he still has great shoulder movement. He can go up about this far here, as well as a secondary joint there, and go all the way around. We saw that he has a full bicep swivel. He does technically have double jointed elbows, but because of the molding, he only really gets 90 degrees. And you want to be careful here because of these tabs. They can start interfering, so just be very mindful when you use them so that you're not damaging these tabs here. His fist is on a ball joint or a ball peg. You really only get kind of swivel out of it though. The rest of it's meant for transformation. His thumb is on a single joint here, and all of his fingers, 4 fingers, are molded into one piece. So MP styled there. He does have a full 360 waist swivel, as well as a very nice ab crunch. He gets to 90 degrees, or maybe just shy of 90 degrees. Hip skirts go up. He doesn't have hip skirts that go forward. He has a whole leg design, kind of like MP version 2 Bumblebee, as well as I remember Ocular Max Cliff Jumper having the same thing. So this whole section here rotates up. So does Optimus Prime, MP44 Optimus Prime, now I think about it. His legs can only go out about this far before it starts hitting the molding. He has a thigh swivel, knee bend. He has double knee bend actually. The top one's ratcheted, the bottom one's friction. And then coming down to the foot, he has 2 hinges here, so you can get some more articulation with the foot, so you can point it. And then toe articulation here. Really for transformation, you don't really get that much. I mean, a little bit up, but not really much else. He does have some molded details on the bottom. I actually thought that these might be rubber pads when I first saw them, but they're just molded plastic. So yeah, that's really it. So I already did a comparison with Sideswipe just to see how tall he is in comparison. Here he is with MP44, just so you have that. I don't know why you would display these two together, but maybe you do. All right, here he is with Optimus. And I think the scale works pretty well. All right, so I think that's really it for robot mode. I think we talked about it all. He's a very fun figure, very articulated overall. Oh, I didn't talk about ankle tilt. Well, you get it. He does have ankle tilt, but he does have a lot of articulation. nice posability. You can get a lot of range. I think he's very expressive overall. Like I said, the paint, not the paint, the plastic quality overall feels better and sturdier than what we got from the Optimus. So that's really good. I thought the Optimus felt a little bit brittle and hollow. This guy does not feel like that. He feels pretty sturdy. Probably not to the level as some companies. Definitely not like, Fans Toys level of quality. But I think for what we expect from third party, he's probably middle of the road in terms of the different companies, especially for a modern design. Much better quality that we're getting from third party figures overall. All right, so let's go ahead and get him transformed back into beast mode, and then I'll talk about the cannon accessory, which does light up. I guess we're here now, so I guess we can talk about it. The way it works, and you're not going to be able to see it, is that you press this cannon inwards, and there's a small light that comes out. Because of its white plastic and it's pretty thin, you see it much more brightly shining through the base here than actually out of the gun here. So you can see it light up. The way it works is you just unscrew here and these two, and you have to actually move this hinge out of the way and separate the pieces, and there's a little LED module there. So you'll need two batteries. They're AG0 or LR521. They're equivalent battery types. You'll need two of them, and I think the flat side or the positive side faces towards the front. But they show that in the instructions, I believe, so you can check that out once you get yours. But yeah, it's kind of a cool mechanism since you just can push it. There's no switch or anything like that that's visible. That's kind of cool. All right, so let's get to transformation. Let's just bring his cannon back. We'll deal with the backpack first. Untab this, bring up the neck, untab this section. This section, I don't know if there's a special trick to it, but I don't know why. It's much harder to like get the backpack untabbed a second time. So just pull back on here, pull back on the base here, or on these two sides instead of the instead of just pulling on the head. Pull up on these and pull out on these shoulder tabs. Swing these open, and then you can get the bull head out. So I like swinging these shoulder pieces with the rectangles up right now, just because it gives you a little bit more room to play with these sections here, and then subsequently pull the bull head out. While we're here, rotate these around and tab them in. All right, and we'll just keep it like this for now. We're going to rotate the robot mode head back all the way so that it can scooch through like so. And basically the horn should be facing forward. Remember that these white pieces are on double hinges. You do need to make sure that these are scooched back, and there's a little tab here that helps you get that position correctly on the inner setting. Like so. And then you can close up the chest. So it works in kind of like an over-under. You want to put this right side of his chest in first, and then the left side to kind of get it not locked into place, but they kind of tab closed. All right, so let's just get the bullhead positioned, and then we can go ahead and once again tab the backpack closed. Bring this all the way back and down like that. Now let's deal with the arms. Flip these down. Rotate the shoulder inward. And then we can deal with each individual hand. So I like to pull up on these tabbed sections here. Bring this down. Again, I like to have the fist so that the thumb's facing outward. Rotate these around 180 degrees. The bicep is going to rotate around so that this tab will slot in there. Once again, like we showed at the beginning, these two tabs will go into these two slots. If you do that correctly, this little hidden tab should be very easy to tab in with this little kind of, I don't know, fin piece? I don't even know what to call it. So yeah, same thing on the other side. Untab this, get the fist rotated in. Bring the bicep around. Curl this all up and tabbed into place. Get this tabbed in. Tab this in, and then we're good to go on the front. Coming to the back, we're just going to release a bunch of these slots here. Well, let's fold in the toe. Pull the peg out of the hoof right there. I'm going to untab this section here as well as there. Just keep that up and out. Come to the other side, pull outwards to release that tab. And we'll kind of swing this up and around like so. While we're here, we can close this up with that tab. And while we're here, we'll just go ahead and close this tab as well to lock in the thigh. This part's basically going to flip all the way around. While we do that, we want to pull up on this tab, swing this all the way around to the inside, rotate this around and down. And this is the leg's going to come in here. We're going to tab that in a little bit later after we get both halves together. So same thing on this side, fold up the toe, come to the inside of the leg, pull out on this tab, pull out on this tab, and release the leg, the hind leg. This will swing up. This piece will rotate down and tab into the side. The foot, we're going to bring this to the outside. I think it was on the inside already. So I'm going to bring this around, pull up on this section, rotate this all the way around, and bring this down. Now we can tab both legs together. And these two honking tabs on the underside of the feet will tab into the white sections on the back, the lower back, like so. Make sure everything's tabbed into place. Make sure this tabbed in, this one's still secure, and then bring this tab down like that. Looks like something didn't tab in. So there is another tab on the back of the thigh, but that should pretty much automatically seat. All right, I think that worked. Oh, so this one didn't. So you can see there's a tab right there. It's supposed to go into the back of the thigh kind of like automatically. But that one didn't seem to want to do so. There we go. There we go. Straighten out the legs. And we have Red Bull back in his alt mode. Oh, we want to rotate this tail on this hinge here to get it right in the middle. And like I forgot to show before, we'll go ahead and slot that in. Okay, there we go. So that's it for the review. Final thoughts. I think this figure is actually quite fun. It's really actually an interesting original design. There are a few areas where I think things could tab together a little bit better, like this chest piece here. But overall, they have a lot of design that they don't even show off a lot of, like these hidden tabs, like the hoof tab that I mentioned before and stuff like that. There are a lot of small little things that are designed. Oh, and even the ones here that you probably would gloss over, especially since they don't talk about it in the instructions. But they're obviously very mindful of making sure that this is pretty secure overall in both modes. So pretty happy with that. But yeah, if you liked the video and if you liked the instructions, please give it a thumbs up, share, and subscribe. If you didn't like it, go ahead and give it a thumbs down. Let me know what I could have done better to make you guys provide that thumbs up. All right. If you want to order this guy, you can pick him up from Toy Dojo, my sponsor. And as always, hope you guys have a good one.